Hey, my name is Badass Benny and welcome to my channel. If you're an ACE, AMAC, and sex human trafficking survivor, you're in the right place. And it won't cost you a penny to like and subscribe and to share worldwide. And please leave a comment down below on the video. This is going to be the last video from my book. And I will be telling more stories. We'll just let the channel develop on its own. So today we're going to talk about how to help a friend in tears. Laura sat at the table with her 3 friends. She appeared distressed. Suddenly she began to cry. "I was raped last weekend. I can't believe it happened." Her friends sat motionless for a minute, and then each of them offered Laura something to comfort her. "Oh no, who did it?" "We'll find him and lock him up." "It's okay, Laura. It's over now and you'll soon forget about it. I'll get you a drink to calm you down." Laura sighed and shrugged. "Don't worry, I'm all right. Who wants coffee? Let's analyze and what took place in this familiar situation." When Laura blurted out her feelings, her very caring and well-meaning friends were, without realizing it, saying, "I feel uncomfortable and helpless when you're so sad. So let's stop talking about it." Picking up their cues, Laura suppressed her own feelings and reversed roles to help her friends with their discomfort. Unfortunately, few people know how to listen to someone's unhappiness without feeling anxiety or discomfort. They rely on traditional responses, pat mechanical phrases unconsciously aimed at cutting off the person's disclosures in order to bring everything back on an even keel. The following list identifies 10 of the most common verbal pacifiers that deny the sufferer the opportunity to express, work through his or her feelings. 1. Side with the person crying. "That SOB, who does he think he is?" 2. Validate the painful feelings. "Don't cry, you're safe now." 3. Become angry. "Calm down, try to get control of yourself." 4. Distract the person. "Why don't you get some sleep? You'll feel better in the morning." 5. Patronize, console, or pressure. "It could have been worse, you could have been killed." 6. Offer solutions or give advice. "You should have all the locks changed and get a watchdog." 7. Make the person feel guilty. "I always cry when others cry." 8. Cover feelings with humor, sarcasm, or glitches. "That's a man for you, always thinking of himself." 9. Blame or attack the person. "You should have fought back." 10. Find excuses or explanations. "His mother must have abused him as a child." And I'm going to add one here, and it's with a parent that does not want to know what happened to you as a child. And they're supposed to know what happened to you as a child because they're the parent. Especially if you're 5 and under. Where's the parent? All these responses cut off communication. They put the sufferer on the defense. They require him or her to explain or justify his or her feelings to the listener. Listeners indulge in comforting rather than listening. Eventually, distress turns to frustration or even anger, and the rape survivor may stop talking altogether or change the subject. The listener will not understand why she or he has suddenly become withdrawn or depressed, and why it may be quiet a while before she or he risks communicating on such a sensitive level again. Hearing someone in distress can be very threatening. To lessen the tension and anxiety, the listener tries to escape with one of the traditional responses. In a world in which emotional people are often looked upon as hysterical, few avenues of expression seem open. People feel uncomfortable around other person's unhappiness because it puts them in touch with their own repressed and sad feelings. Even feelings of not wanting to look at it at all. Especially when the other person is upset about something they themselves have experienced. They need to change the subject before they become overwhelmed with feelings they aren't ready to face. Helpers often try to find an answer, or find a solution, or do something, anything to reduce that feeling of helplessness. Few people know how to care for the emotional elements of others. If they can't cure it with chicken soup, they'll try to quiet the person. That's my mom. Thus putting an end to the mutual anguish and discomfort. And I'll tell you this, that I believe my mother would rather see me dead in the ground than come up with the truth. When Laura began to cry, there were several ways her friends could have comfort her more effectively. So I hope this helps you. 1. Recognition of feelings. When you are entrusted with a person's most vulnerable feelings, it is comforting to know that you don't have to do anything except listen. In general, sufferers just need to know that the listener recognizes that they feel sad and will support them in expressing their sadness. For instance, Laura's friends could have responded by saying, "You seem upset," or "Tell us more about it." 2. Validation of feelings. People need to feel that their feelings are real and that their reason for crying is justified. A simple "that's an awful problem" or "I can understand why you would feel that way" conveys that message. It lets people know you're really trying to understand what they're going through and they're not alone with their problem. 3. Release of feelings. People desperately need to release strong feelings, whether feelings of pain, fear, or anger, openly in a trusting place without the interference of guilt or humiliation or not believing, period. A reassuring shoulder or a comforting arm is just the thing to soothe and support a distressed person, along with words like "go ahead and let it out." You'll feel a lot better. 4. Acceptance of feelings. Once someone has shared his or her suffering or anger, they need to know that no matter what they've said, they still have your friendship. That they will not be judged, disapproved, or rejected. Interrogating them about the problem will only inhibit or invoke defensive behavior. Try instead to communicate simple acceptance and genuine caring with a statement such as, "It must have been very hard for you," or "that sounds really rough." 5. Make an opportunity to make their own decisions. People need to be given the chance to find their own alternatives. In most cases, they do not need advice. Words such as, "What do you think you need to do?" or "Is there some way I can help?" It gives the decision-making back to the person in distress. Neither statement sets up expectations or has strings attached. However, there are times when giving advice or suggestions can be beneficial if it comes in the form of alternatives. The person in distress may feel lost in a sea of confusion and self-doubt. She or he may feel alone and afraid. At such times, having a friend offer alternatives or share their own personal experiences in similar situations may be very welcome relief and may actually be regarded as a practical gift. When I feel the way you do, I like to write an angry letter and then rip it up and let's sit down and make a list of your options, or statements that offer constructive alternatives. And that's when they're in the healing stage, y'all. The trick in offering suggestions or sharing feelings and experiences is allowing the person to receive the information and then decide for themselves what, if anything, they want to do about. Statements such as, this is what you need to do, or you should do this or that, set all sorts of emotional traps. If you must offer advice, offer multiple alternatives. Avoid making a personal investment in any one suggestion. Then leave the decision or for action up to the person who is hurting. It is important not to get emotionally involved in the person's problem, but to do your caring from a distance. What happens next? Once people have been given the choice to work things out and to explore their feelings, they usually feel relieved and even optimistic. Although the situation has not actually changed, their attitude toward the situation has. Facts will appear clearer and feelings will not seem as desperate. But before people can open up and share their problems with a close friend, an atmosphere of trust and safety must be there. All that Laura or any other person in distress needs to know is that their friends really want to listen and that it's all right to feel sad. This is by Phyllis A. Newman, taken from Ms. Magazine, December of 1983. What are you going to do to take care of yourself today?